Good morning. Let's start the daily development on current affairs. First is India's fighter jet control. So, because in the light of this recent defense modernization, upgradation, and making India more powerful in the defense domain, so in this backdrop, we can say again the sanction strength of 42 fighter squadrons of the Indian Air Force. India today at 31 squadron only, so below 11 squadrons, which would not go off in the next decade, but on the contrary can go further down by 2029. An Indian Air Force representative informed the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Defence as per the report tabled in the Parliament recently. So against the sanctions of the 42 squadrons, presently we have only 31, and by 2029 this is again going to be reduced further from to 31 to less than that. Okay. Thus, some of the conundrum faced by one of the world's largest air force in modernizing its fleet, which has been beset with unending delay in procurement. Because neither we have a robust fighter plane development program, nor we are purchasing the fighter plane in plenty. That is why it is being delayed. अरे चाची ठीक ठाक हाँ देखो यहाँ पर सलाड़ी चलो स्पीड करो हमको ठीक है पिछले नफले तो वो कोई नहीं अच्छा वेट क्लास ठीक है हमको स्पीड करेंगे okay. It must be noted that of the 31 squadron at present, it must be noted that of the 31 squadron at present, the 3 MiG-21 squadrons will be phased out by 2025, being outdated. Also, the Jaguar Mirage 2000, the MiG-29 will begin going out by the end of this decade. Because the fighter planes in these squadrons are already aged and they will give in failure. For instance, by 2027-28, the first of the MiG-29 inducted in late 1980s will be started going out, and by early 2030, when most of these types will be phased out, some of the earliest batch of the Su-30, Sukhoi 30, okay, which also start going out. So, because after completing that tenure, so these aircrafts will be out of service, and that needs more new fight planes are inducted to the Air Force, which is not forthcoming. The Indian Air Force has in total contracted 272 Sukhoi 30, a deal to procure 2 additional Sukhoi 30 MKI to replace the one lost in accident, as well as 21 additional MiG-29 from Russia has been struck. Though both Indian Air Force and Russian officials state that it has been delayed, but is on track. Although delivery has been delayed, but the process is on track. The delivery will be made, but slightly delayed. India has an ambitious plan lined up for the acquisition of over 500 fighter jets, a bulk of them to be indigenously designed and manufactured, with a majority of them being for the Air Force, Indian Air Force. However, these are various stages of development. Okay, their manufacturing and timely delivery are critical because so India's own indigenous fighter plane development program is not that robust. Not it is so smart to deliver in time. It is already running a overrun. Okay, so a lot of delay in the process, and if Okay. So India has an ambitious plan lined up for the acquisition of about 500 fighter jets, a bulk of them to be indigenously designed and manufactured, with the majority of them being for the Air Force. However, these are at various stages of development. Their manufacturing and timely delivery are critical. Even with the light combat aircraft Mark 1, LCA Mark 2, light combat aircraft Mark 2, and the MRFA India, okay, will still be at 35-36 squadrons by middle of the next decade, 2030, 2040. Apart from the new induction plan, the Indian Air Force is confident that increasing the low availability rate of the Sukhoi 30 and other fighter in service will offset some of the shortfall in the interim. However, this could be potentially impacted due to the Ukraine war, which has already affected payment to Russia for deals underway, as well as delay and uncertainty in timely supply of spares for equipment in service. Because the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war has but two setbacks. The first setback is it is delaying the delivery. The second setback is the delivery of the spare parts. Okay, is not in time because of the war. Fine. Neither we are getting new supply, but also the we are facing the delay in supply of the spare parts for maintenance and repairing of the aircrafts in service in Indian Air Force squadrons. Fine. The war has its own impact. The LCA, which is the fulcrum of the Indigenous Jet Development Program, originally intended as a MiG-21 replacement, has been a series of delays and has now come back on track. The LCA achieved initial operation clearance in December 2013 and final operation clearance in February 2019. The Indian Force has earlier signed two contracts with the Hindustan Aeronautic Limited HAL for 2010 configuration aircraft including 20 aircraft configuration including 4 IOC trainers. Okay, so by March 31st 26 for the 20 FOC configuration jet along with 4 trainers on December 23, 2010. Of this, Indian Air Force representative noted that they are supposed to get 30 LCA from HAL much earlier, but they are getting them now. Okay, even now, Indian Air Force 2 aircraft shot of 30. Okay, so that means the production of the indigenous aircraft in by HAL in India is also not in time. 2 decades since the first flight of the February 2020, the Defence Ministry signed 40,000 crore deal with Hindustan Aeronautic Limited for 83 LCA Mach 1A. According to HAL, the project is on track to begin delivery from February 2024. Hindustan Aeronautic Limited will be delivering the first 3 aircrafts in 2024 and 16 aircraft per year for the subsequent 5 years. In March 2023, HAL inaugurated the third LC assembly line with the need now being to ramp up production rate because so to faster delivery of these fighter planes, so in Hindustan Aeronautic Limited need to build its production line and expedite the production process. So this takes time because HAL was not that a proactive manufacturing company till few years back, but the recent big order by the government because we depend upon import of these fighter planes. But as government put emphasis on indigenous production, so HAL has been upgraded and financial allocation has been given to it, and that is why so HAL is right now on track to deliver the product in time as projected. In addition to the LCA Mach 1A, an even more capable and larger LCA Mach 2, which received sanction from the Cabinet Committee on Security in September 2022 at a total cost of 9,000 crore, is expected to be ready for production by 2027. Moreover, the fifth generation advanced medium combat aircraft is awaiting the Cabinet Committee on Security sanction, the development of which would take 10 years after that, according to Aeronautical Development Agency (ADA). The project cost of this AMCA stands for Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, is estimated to be around 15,000 crore. Okay, the LCA Mach 2 will be similar to the Mirage 2000 in terms of capability and will be an important fill up as several jets currently in service began going out. There is also a twin engine deck based fighter in the drawing board for the Navy aircraft carrier. Aeronautical Development Agency looking at 6 squadrons of the LCA Mach 2, 7 squadrons of the AMC and up to 100 TBDF. So TBD stands for Twin Engine Deck Best Fighter. So which will be placed in the aircraft carrier. Fine. The Aero India at Aero India, HAL expect an additional order for up to 50 LCM Mach 1. A squadron typically has 18 aircrafts. Okay, so this is very important. One squadron has 18 aircrafts. The TBDBF, or the Twin Engine Deck Based Fighter, is expected to take flight by 2026 and be ready for production by 2031. Indian Navy must get up to 45 twin engine deck based fighter by 2040. For the Navy, a decision for 26 carrier based fighters is expected shortly. A contest between Boeing F-1A 18F EF Super Hornet and the Dassault Aviation Rafale M. So which will be competing with this Indian owned indigenous production. The other critical program of this MRFA is a reincarnation of the earlier medium multi-role combat aircraft MMRCA contest for 126 jet. The MMRCA began when the request for information was issued in 2007 and dragged on for a decade only to end up in a knot and give way to emergency procurement of the 36 Rafale jets from France. Earlier shortlisted under the MMRCA under a 7.87 billion euro deal with France. So, and we are able to receive the consignment of the Dassault Rafale, okay, the Rafale fighter plane from France in the last 2 years. The FRA of 114 MRFA was issued in April 2019 to global aircraft manufacturers, but there has been no progress and the project is yet to receive the acceptance of necessity from those companies who should be taking the order, the starting point of the procurement process. Given the huge budgetary outlay committed for the indigenous program, it has to be seen how the finances for the MRFA, which involve the manufacturers to set up plant in India, could be managed. Fine. So this is the status and evolution of this light combat aircraft. While the LCA project did see long delay, it has also evolved in tune with the changing technological requirements. It was conceived in the 1990s, but what the Indian Air Force is flying today is very difficult from what was actually conceived at that point of time. According to Indian Air Force, what was envisioned in the beginning and what they are flying today are two different architectures. The one they are flying today is called the federated architecture. Further, the House panel was informed that as far as avionics, airframe and other parts are concerned, we are very close to where the world is expect from some technology like the actuators which are undergoing flight testing at the moment according to Indian Air Force. Also critical technologies like fly-by-wire are not shared by anyone and were developed indigenously over time because the fly-by-wire technology automation is developed by the Boeing and other Airbus companies, but they are not willing to share it with Indian manufacturers. So we are developing our own fly-by-wire system through indigenous research. Okay, that is the reason why it is delayed to that an extent. But it is an achievement, you can say. If we get that from them, we might not have the scope to indigenously develop. Although the program is delayed, but right now we are able to develop our own technology indigenously. That's a credit for India, and we can develop and fulfill our own requirement. Simultaneously, we may export it to outside country. Okay, so the next each topic on economics. What are the challenges India faces in assuring resilient critical mineral supply chain? So what is that? So critical mineral supply. What? Critical mineral supply chain. So the discussion will be on the critical minerals. What are critical minerals? We'll discuss that and why the need of critical minerals and what is the present status of this critical mineral supply chain. Fine. Okay. A recent working paper from Center for Social and Economic Progress extend the earlier mineral assessment for 23 mineral by assessing the critical level of 43 select minerals for India based on their economics importance, demand side factor and supply side factors, which are determined through the evolution of specific indicators. Critical minerals refer to mineral resources, both primary and processed, which are essential inputs in the production process of an economy and whose supply are likely to be disrupted due to the risk of non-availability or unaffordability, price spike or price increase. To tackle such supply risk, major global economies periodically evaluate which minerals are critical for their jurisdictions through one quantitative assessment. Minerals such as antimony, cobalt, gallium, graphite, lithium, nickel, niobium and strontium are among the 22 assessed to be critical for India. Many of these are required to meet the manufacturing needs of green technology, high-tech equipment, aviation and national defense. However, while India has a significant mineral geological potential, many minerals are not readily available domestically. Okay, because they have not been explored. Okay, because we have not assessed the requirement of critical minerals, so our location or although we may have the potentiality but we have not explored them well. Hence India needs to develop a national strategy to ensure resilient critical mineral supply chains which focuses on mineral found to be critical in this study. What are the challenges? India faces global and domestic challenges in assuming resilient critical mineral supply chain on the international front. There currently exist four significant risks. First, China, the most dominant player in the critical mineral supply chain, still struggles with COVID-19 related lockdown. As a result, the extraction, processing, and export of critical minerals are at risk of slowdown. Second, Russia is one of the significant producers of nickel, palladium, titanium, sponge metal, and rare earth elements, scandium. Ukraine is one of the major producers of titanium. It also has reserve of lithium, cobalt, graphite, and rare earth elements, including tantalum, niobium, and beryllium. The war between the two countries have implications for this critical mineral supply chain because apart from non-availability, so this war between Russia and Ukraine has further aggravated the supply chain of the critical minerals. Fine. Third, the balance of power shift across continent and countries, the critical mineral supply chain may get affected due to the strategic partnership between China and Russia. As a result, developed countries have jointly drawn up partnership strategies, including the Mineral Security Partnership (MSP) and the G7 Sustainable Critical Mineral Alliance, while developing countries have missed it. You see, the Russia-China alliance are developing the stronghold on that, and to counter that, the G7 and the developed countries. Okay, so they have their own alliance, like the Mineral Security Partnership. Okay, which has been developed by G7, and the G7 also developed the Sustainable Critical Mineral Alliance. Okay, so developed country jointly founded the Mineral Security Partnership, by which they are cooperating with each other in the supply requirement of the critical minerals. Simultaneously, the G7 Sustainable Critical Mineral Alliance is another one which is trying to means adjust or to check out their own plan to fulfill the requirement of the critical minerals. So, but the developing country, so they have missed both because neither they are a part of G7 nor they are part of the Mineral Security Partnership. Okay, by the developed countries. So, and their own need is depend upon the mercy of these two groups because they have developed their cartel like things and alliances. Fourth, Manufacturing renewable energy technology would require increasing quantity of minerals, including copper, manganese, zinc, and indium. Like the transition to electric vehicles would require increasing amount of minerals, including copper, lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements. However, India does not have many of these minerals reserves, or its requirement may be higher than the availability, necessitating a reliance on foreign partners to meet domestic needs. And the way forward. Okay. Second, given the increasing importance of critical and strategic mineral, there is imperative need to create a new list of such minerals in the MMDR Act. Okay. So on the domestic front, so what is the way forward? On the domestic front, while India has a geological potential similar to mining-rich Western Australia, much still need to be explored, because although we feel that we have the reserve, but they have not yet been means mined or have been explored. So it is projected that the minerals available in India, they give the idea that the other critical elements or critical minerals may be available in India. So, but the requirement was not that earlier, so our exploration had been limited to the regularly needed minerals, and we have not explored these critical minerals whether they're available in India or not. We have not done the exploration on that. But right now, so if you take time, in case that we're able to locate it. Recently, that lithium was discovered in Jammu and Kashmir, but we have not searched it. So if we have searched it earlier, it might have been discovered earlier. Okay, so because we are right now in need of lithium for the critical technology, and we started the exploration, we are able to locate huge reserve of lithium in India, in Jammu Kashmir, and but although it has been explored, but its extraction and ultimate uh, product range will take 10 to 15 years to make it commercially available. If it has been located earlier, by the time we might be able to establish ourselves as a country which has its own lithium technology or lithium product, and might not have to depend upon a foreign supply from China and other countries, because we are shifting to EV and other lithium needed technology. So we have started the exploration. Unfortunately, we are able to discover it. So on this prediction, so it has been projected that many of these critical minerals must be available. There is a chance of these minerals being located in India, but we have not explored it, because as their requirement is limited, so our government or the mining entities have not started the exploration. And right now, if they start the exploration, so definitely some sort of these critical minerals may be well located in India, but even if they're located, exploring them and using them to fulfill the requirement will further take time. This delay is because of lack of government's vision in exploring these minerals. And one more thing you can say, we have not a big need of these minerals, so we have not explored. We confined to these minerals. which are required in India, and our mining companies have confined their sphere to those minerals so on which we have a requirement regularly. So the other minerals which are right now we are requiring, so they have not been explored. It will take time for their exploration, but no doubt as per the Indian that mineral reserve list, so we are hopeful that so many of these reserves must be there in India, and definitely we'll be able to locate them, because so the minerals are available in some blocks, and if one block is available, there is an optimistic opinion that others minerals will be available in the nearby blocks. Okay. Many critical and strategic minerals constitute a part of the list of atomic minerals in the Mine and Mineral Development Regulation Act 1957. However, the present policy recognizes reserves these minerals only for public sector undertakings. Some of these are minerals and ores bearing beryllium, lithium, niobium, titanium, tantalum, zirconium, beach sand minerals, and rare group minerals containing uranium and thorium. Second, given the increasing importance of critical and strategic minerals, there is an imperative need to create a new list of such minerals in the MMDR Act. The list may include minerals such as molybdenum, rhenium, tungsten, cadmium, indium, gallium, graphite, vanadium, tellurium, okay, selenium, nickel, cobalt, tin, the platinum group of elements, and fertilizers minerals such as gallucotinine, potash, and phosphates. They are the minerals such as the fertilizer minerals which are used in fertilizers. But like the potash and phosphates are not plenty available in India, we have to depend on import of these minerals even for our fertilizer manufacturing. Okay, these minerals must be prospected, explored, and mined on priority. As they delay may hindrance many of India's emission reduction and climate change mitigation timeline. Third, the reconnaissance and explorations of minerals must be encouraged with particular attention given to deep-seated minerals. This will call for a collective effort by the government, junior miners, and major mining companies. Fourth, an innovative regime must be devised to allocate critical mineral mining assets which adequately incentivizes private explorers, including junior explorers. Given the long lead time of setting up new exploration, extraction, and processing activities, these issues must be addressed soon if India is to utilize its natural wealth for its manufacturing needs. Fifth, India needs to determine where and how the processing of minerals and assembly of critical minerals embedded equipments will occur. Currently, India relies on global supply of various processed critical minerals, as these are limited domestic sources. Okay, India requires a critical mineral strategy comprising measures aimed at making the country Atmanirbhar or self-sufficient, self-reliant. Okay, in critical minerals needed for sustainable economic growth and green technology for climate action, national defense, and affirmative action for protecting the interest of the affected community and regions. In addition, India must actively engage in bilateral and plurilateral arrangements for building astute and resilient critical mineral supply chain. Furthermore, the assessment of critical mineral for India needs to be updated every 3 years to keep pace with changing domestic and global scenario. A national critical mineral strategy for India, underpinned by the mineral identified in this study, can help focus on priority concern in supply risk, domestic policy regime, and the sustainability. Because these minerals are right now much in demand, so we should have a proper policy on the exploration, prospecting, mining, and processing. So to reduce our dependence on import from other countries, because the present global situation may further interrupt the supply chain. Fine. So then the hacky picky people, very interesting one. कौन कौन Okay. So the news is Hickey Picky people, Hacky Picky people. More than 181 members of the Hacky Picky tribal community from Karnataka are struck in violence in Sudan, in Africa. Even the government is making effort to bring them back. So very interesting one. These tribal people they are in Sudan. Why they are going to Sudan? The Hacky Picky is a tribe that live in several states in West and South India, especially near forest areas. The Hacky Picky, Hacky in Kannada means birds and Picky means catcher or bat catchers are semi-nomadic tribes traditionally of bat catchers and hunters. According to 2011 census, the Hakki-Pikki population in Karnataka is 11,892 and they live majorly in Devnagari, Mysuru, Kolar, Hassan and Shivmoga district. In different regions, they are known by different names, such as the Mel Sikari in northern Karnataka and the Maharashtra. According to anthropologists, the Hakki-Pikki move in groups from place to place in search of livelihood. They are divided into four clans called the Garjatia, the Panwar, the Kaliwala, and the Mewaras, depending upon their tribes. These clans, the tribal clans, this clan can be equated with the caste in the traditional Hindu society. In the olden days, there was a hierarchy among the clans with the Gurjatia at the top and the Merwars at the bottom. The forest is the main natural resources of the Hakki-Pikki people. So they depend completely on the forest resources for their livelihood. How they do live, where they live, the Hakki Pikki people are believed to hail originally from the bordering district of Gujarat and Rajasthan. To Karnataka, they seem to have arrived via Andhra Pradesh and they still remember places called Jalapelli near Hyderabad as their ancestral home, where their forefathers lived for a considerable period. They are now spread across South India. Till a few years ago, women used to wear the ghagra, common in Rajasthan, although now they wear sari and other garments. That means Rajasthani dress they wear, their women folk. But where that traditional job and what do they do now? Traditionally, the Hakki Pikki live in forest areas leading a nomadic life for 9 months a year and coming back to their permanent camps for 3 months in a year. Local in the Kakshiratpura, a Haki Piki village in Mysore district, many of the tribes would hunt while women begged in villages. But as the wildlife protection law became stricter, the Haki Piki in Karnataka started selling spices, herbal oil, and plastic flowers in local temple fairs. This nomadic. Okay. The community moved to villages from the forest in the 1950s. Earlier, they killed animals to make a living, but then some of the community members were booked and jailed under wildlife law. So they shifted to selling herbal oils and other materials in village and towns. The herbal oil business took off, and now the tribe members go to many places across the globe to sell their products. What they sell? Right now, they sell the herbal oils. The Hakipiki in Tamil Nadu traveled to Singapore, Thailand, and other places about 20-25 years ago to sell some marbles. In the process of discovering there was a huge demand for Ayurvedic product in the African continent, they started selling their products in Africa. The Karnataka Haki package followed them. People from the state have been traveling to African countries for the past 20 years now. That is how. So they have been to Sudan to sell these herbal products and stock up in the struggle. Education level among the Haki Pikki are are still low. For example, into 2000 strong population of the Fakirajapura, only 8 people have completed graduation level courses and one person works as a police constable. So that is level of education. What are the rituals and customs? Hakki in Karnataka follow Hindu traditions and celebrate all Hindu festivals. They are non-vegetarians. The eldest son in a family is not supposed to cut his hair so that he can be identified easily. The tribe prefer cross-cousin marriage. The usual age of marriage is 18 for women and 22 for men. The society is matriarchal, monogamy is the norm. How well do they earn in African countries? African countries offer them an opportunity to escape poverty faster. So, by selling their products in African country, they are able to earn a decent sum and overcome their poverty. There is demand for products in African continent. If a person invests luck on raw materials, so hibiscus powder, oil extractions, gooseberry, Ayurvedic plants, etc., they have a chance to double or triple it in a matter of 3 to 6 months in African continent. If they invest such a small amount in this natural or forest based products or Ayurvedic products, so they are able to sell it in a double and triple rate in African country. That gives them a decent sum of earning. That is why, so they have Africa became their new destination or new market. Okay, so and they are doing this for the last 20 30 years, and unfortunately these poor people, these uneducated people, although they have explored outside India and doing business there, so they have been trapped by the civil war like situation in the African country. Okay, the next topic is the exercise INJOS 23, the multinational air exercise known as the INJOS 23, which the Hellenic Air Force will host. Okay, a participant from Indian Air Force will be present. From 24th April until the 4th of May 2023, the training will be conducted at the Andravida Air Base in Greece. The Indian Air Force will send two Sukhoi 30 Mark 1 and 4 C-17 Globemaster to participate in the exercise. This will be the third exercise that the Indian Air Force will be taking part simultaneously. The purpose of this exercise is to strengthen international collaboration, synergy and interoperability among the air forces that are participating. The training will be conducted in a scenario that is representative of actual warfare and will involve a variety of air and surface forces. In addition to that, it will make it possible for the participating contingents to communicate in a professional setting and get valuable insight into each other's most effective procedures. Other participants include France with its Rafale jets, the United States of America with its F-16 jets and the MQ-9 drones, Jordan with its F-16 jets, Spain with its EF-18 aircrafts, Italy with its Tornado aircraft, Cyprus with its AW139 helicopters, Saudi Arabia with its F-15 jets, Slovenia with its PC-9 aircraft, Australia with its intelligence personnel, and Canada with its air traffic controllers. So this will be interoperability. Will expose each other to others' expertise, and this sharing of knowledge and experience and expertise will make everyone expert in the domain. The realistic exercises will be conducted in a large area with various geomorphological features, and the drill is one of the most competitive in Europe and the Mediterranean. And India participating in this exercise will make Indian Air Force personnel quite experienced in the war domain. Okay. Then the next news is about the PSLV C-55 mission, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-55 mission. The Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle is India's most trusted rocket engine, and it has established Indian space power in the global domain. And the PSLV C-55 will be launched soon. The Indian Space Organization ISRO, which is scheduled to launch the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-55 a mission in April 22nd, 2023 will carry out its orbit scientific experiment by using the spent 4S4 fourth and final stage PSLV as an orbital platform. Okay, so carry out its orbit scientific experiment. Okay, so some experiment conducted in the orbit, so through the last stage of the platform. The PSLV C-55 will have Singapore's Telios 2 satellite, a primary satellite, and Limulite 4 as a co-passenger satellite. So it will be launching two foreign satellites in the orbit, along with that conduct the experiment on for its own requirement. The PSLV C-55 mission and the PSLV orbital experiment module POEM, where the spent PS4 of the launch vehicle would be utilized as an orbital platform to carry out scientific experiments through non-separating payloads. This is the third time that the PS4 will be used after satellite separation as a platform for experiments. After placing the satellites in their required orbit, the rocket will be used as an experimental station. This is the third time that this is being done. According to the space agency ISRO, the POEM, okay, that orbital, so PSLV orbital experimental module, okay, PSLV orbital experimental module POEM has 7 experimental non-separable payloads. That means 7 different experiments will be conducted by the PSLV after launching the two satellites. Right. So this is what. So after launching satellites, so some sort of research will be conducted using this particular platform, the satellite, that launch vehicle or rocket. The PSLV C-55 mission is a dedicated commercial mission. The Telios 2 and the Limulite 4 satellite are intended to be launched into the eastward low inclination orbit. ISRO said that the Telios 2 satellite is developed under the partnership between the DSTA, presently the government of Singapore, and the Science Technology Engineering. Once deployed and operational, it will be used to support the satellite imagery requirement of various agencies with the government of Singapore. So this is a foreign satellite. The Telios 2 will be able to provide all weather day and night coverage and be capable of imaging a 1 meter full polarimetric resolution. So ISRO will be launching two foreign satellites on payment, and apart from that, the rocket will be used as experimental to conduct 7 experiments. Be after launching the satellites and placing the satellites in the respective orbits. Fine. Then the next topic is about the sloth bear, or called the honey bear. Okay. Sloth bear. So it was in news for its conflict with the human habitat at Thiruvananthapuram district. Sloth bear are found in Sri Lanka, India, Bhutan, Nepal, predominantly in lowland areas. Sloth bear primarily eat termites and ants, and unlike other bear species, they routinely carry their cub on their back. They are also very fond of honey, hence their alternative name is honey bear. Sloth bear do not hibernate. Okay. A scientific name is Melurus ursinus. Habitat is forest dwelling member of the family of Ursidae, comprised of 8 species of bears that inhabited tropical and subtropical regions of India and Sri Lanka. Okay, so Asiatic bear, black bear, sloth bear, brown bear, and swan bear. So different name they have. So IUCN Red List is the vulnerable. Site listing Appendix 1. Indian Wildlife Act in Schedule 1. Threat habitat loss, poaching of body parts, and for sometimes captured for use in performances of or hunted because of their aggressive behavior and destruction of the crop. Okay, so that's why it is under threat. Then come to the question, examine how the partnership between India and UAE can strengthen regional food security for the global south. As countries around the world cope with supply shortage of staple food, India and United Arab Emirates are coming together for strengthening food security by creating food corridor and food park. The UAE is focusing on the twin objective of food access and readiness to confront supply chain crisis, and India, the world's second largest food producer, each an essential partner in UAE's ambitions to strengthen food security. The Indian UAE partnership stands to benefit from multiple points of convergence and can strengthen food security in the southern rim of Eurasia. Okay, India UAE compatibility is strengthening regional food security. UAE's investment in the food sector in India during the I2U2 India, Israel, United Arab Emirates, and the United States Summit. The UAE committed $2 billion investment towards constructing food park in India, in Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. Food Security Corridor Initiative under the CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. The food corridor to be established under the India UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement seek to address the food security challenge in a holistic manner and aims at achieving three main goals: increasing crop yield in India, enhancing Indian farmers' income by supplying them with high quality seed, equipping them with the best possible and emerging agri-tech facility, and marketing their agricultural products at better rates. To maintain export quality standard to cater to the South Asia and Middle East markets, development of food processing value chain, business conglomerates in Abu Dhabi, for example, the Lulu Group is planning to invest $8 billion in setting up a cold storage and sorting facility in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir to facilitate the export of fruits and vegetables grown in the state. This will lead to the development of a food processing value chain and will enhance export capability. Food assistance to country facing food crisis. India has in recent years acted as a humanitarian provider of food to developing country. The UAE-India partnership can further strengthen food security in the entire Middle East, North African region. This is particularly important as the Food and Agriculture Organization report in 2022 stated that of the 50 countries directly affected the food crisis due to ongoing war, 10 are in the Middle East and North Africa, namely Lebanon, Egypt, Oman, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Tunisia, Iran, Jordan, and Morocco. Other benefits for the food sector: UAE's investment in India will improve the certainty of supplies and improve productivity and efficiency in the Indian food sector landscape. The Dubai Multi-Community Exchange Center, the UAE largest free trade zone, launched Agriata, an agri-trading and community platform to link Indian farmers to food company in the UAE. Therefore, India's G20 presidency offered an opportunity moment for the both India and UAE to showcase viable strategy and framework that can forge the basis of food security in the global south. As it sets the global developmental agenda, India can look to leverage and strengthen trade pathway with the UAE to forge a sustainable, inclusive, efficient, and resilient future of foods. Coming to the MCQs, consider the following with reference to Cabinet Committee on Security. The CCS of the central government decides on India's defense expenditure, matters of national security, and makes significant appointment. Right? It is chaired by the defense minister, no prime minister. So two is incorrect. The national security advisor has also been attend the meeting of the CSC. So 1 and 3 are correct. So that means C is the right option because number 2 it is chaired by the prime minister, not by the defense minister. With reference to MiG-21 fighter jet, consider the following statement. It is a supersonic jet fighter, so it is correct. India plans to phase out all the 4 MiG-21 squadrons by 2025, right? The high rate of accident, here the aircraft nicknamed the flying caffeine. Okay, all the three. Most of the Air Force accidents that kill the pilots are from the this particular MiG-21, right? Being a training aircraft. With reference to mineral security partnership, consider the following. It is a US-led partnership initiative that aims to bolster several mineral supply chains. Okay, so this is good. Only NATO members are eligible. No, all are NATO non-NATO members are allowed for this. So only one is correct. Okay, so then Sustainable Critical Mineral Alliance is by the G7. Fine. Group 7 developed countries have formed the Sustainable Critical Mineral Alliance. Then which of the following are fertilizer minerals? Glucotin, potash, phosphorus, palladium, rhenium. Okay. Out of this, so this glucotin, potash, and phosphates are minerals. For that they are called the fertilizer minerals used in fertilizer. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 means D the right answer. Hickey tribes. They belong to the Hikki belong to Karnataka, but they are spread to Rajasthan also, and part of Andhra Pradesh. Their origin to Andhra Pradesh. The first exercise that enjoins two three consider the following. It is a multinational Navy exercise hosted by Greece. So it is not correct. Okay, not naval exercise, but that air exercise. This is for the first time that the Indian Navy is taking part. So both are incorrect. Both one and two are incorrect. Consider the following statement: Polar Satellite Vehicle mission. It is a dedicated commercial mission through New Space India Limited. New Space India Limited. Okay, so it is correct. The Telio 2 as primary satellite and the Luminet 4 as a co-passenger satellite both belong to Singapore. Both are correct. So 1 and 2. So answer is B. Consider the following statement correct regarding the beer, sloth beer. They are endemic to Indian subcontinent. Right? Okay. So okay, so sloth bear do not hibernate, right? They are protected on the schedule on the Indian subcontinent, right? They are also known as the last list of the bear species, right? The first wild sloth bear they were observed recently, 25, 25, 23, it is incorrect. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 are correct. Then that Navjot Singh Johar case. So Navjot Singh Johar case is discrimination of consensual sex among adults, including homosexuals. So answer is A. This way, our daily discussion is over. Keep watching regularly to update yourself on the development on a regular basis. Thank you for watching.